just rewatched it, and just how emotional he gets with Wilson is like awesome.
I have to watch it again now. It's been a long time.
That was really something that new.
Yeah.
Like how seriously real and emotional he gets with Wilson is just
Yeah.
comical.
It makes you forget. You're like, no.
I didn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
recall.
I know when he loses the ball. Not Wilson.
Is it 7:30?
We're going to start
Okay.
because our guest
Yeah.
isn't staying long. Okay, so what do you want to do?
Maybe you could describe a little of what your view is of,
My view
In your experience.
and my experience?
or what you would hope that this kind of
Oh, that's-
experience would evoke.
Sure. Yeah.
I tried. I failed miserably, I'm sure.
No, you
Yeah.
didn't do bad. You did better than
I
that.
told her we didn't want to hear about her crappy life. You're so much more poetic.
Like, is this a meditation group?
It'll come to me.
In a bad way?
We're ruled by distortion, by distraction, by bracing and anticipation, by this, low grade, subtle, chronic panic. We become rigid and crusty and defended. Angry, disappointed, victimized, victimizer, right? We wonder whether there is something sacred, something palpable, something that's not just a storybook from a Middle Eastern culture declining, long declining. We wonder if something sacred, something palpable can be felt by us presently. Not through the filtering of religious idolatry or religious accusation. Something that might be, call it true, that does not obey human belief systems, human I forget the word. Starts with an S, doesn't matter, it'll come back. Something that's untouched, untethered, and not manipulated by human thought. We might wonder if there is a possible end to confusion, to enmity, to frustration. Otherwise, if we don't ask big questions like these, then we sell out. We sell ourselves out, and we figure out how to survive and habituate to, right, the cacophony of weirdness that life appears to be. And we wander through, we wander through malnourished, and we dare not touch or feel this craving inside ourselves. Because it's too risky, it's too scary. And then, of course, you have thousands upon thousands of snake oil salesmen and saleswomen that will enroll you in some form of witchcraft, conformist reality, belief system, loyalty, tithing, right? All kinds of ways that these helpmates impose on you, not to release you, not to free you, not to help you find your own dignity, but to enroll you in, right, their need. So again, we become dupes to belief, superstition. And we think if we believe fervently enough, if we participate in the superstition and the litany and the liturgy of the religious system, the belief system, that somehow we'll be delivered. It'll make us safe. We'll belong. But we do so by compromising our own autonomy, because we feel compelled to belong to something. Not to ourselves, but to something else, someone else. We succumb to the influence of, popular media, celebrity culture, financial successes, reality TV. We become pushed around and manipulated by everyone and everything that is vying for our attention, for our loyalty, and whatever we might have in our wallet. And that's the entirety of the mediocrity of the human species. The Pope came, that was bright. There's TED Talks. I mean, you can spend hours, if not days, on YouTube looking at 1,000 different gurus across 1,000 different, disciplines, and see if you can pick up some, morsels of truth for yourself. What we really want is the wisdom that comes with cessation. The cessation of belief, the cessation of space, the cessation of time, the cessation of self. By looking for satisfiers, you have to become extroverted. You have to look outside yourself for something, someone to satisfy you. Right? And then you're fractured again. Cessation of self is unfracturing, is, you could say, a return to wholeness, autonomy, dignity, intelligence. But not for the purposes of building a new religious field. A new idol. For the purposes of resting deeply, profoundly, wondrously, with great novelty in your own experience. You don't have to practice compassion. Nobody gives a shit anyway. So what you have at your disposal is a streaming profundity, streaming mystery, which happens to be just this moment, just where you are now. This is it. All right. It's this simple, really. You can trace back in your memory all of your hopes and fears and dreams and resistances and cravings and screaming and shouting with joy and fear and da-da-da-da-da, and you were trying to manipulate the world any which way you could so it would turn in the direction that might please you, right? And where is all that today? It's just this again. So we imagine that, the value of our lives has something to do with our belief or our superstition or our loyalty or what we insist is true. That we're going to micromanage reality according to how we want things to go. So we grip onto this virtual steering wheel and we don't let go. And yet reality just doesn't pay us any attention. Steering wheel is not connected to anything. So as a creature, as a person, right? We struggle with an inherent systemic confusion. I would dare say our instinct knows that we're unfettered. But we're pushed around by forces apparently outside ourselves that try to convince us otherwise. So inwardly we suffer or enjoy a kind of curious schizophrenia. We have a felt sense of freedom unbounded, and yet we can't seem to occupy it. We can't seem to draw or call it forth on our timetable to our liking. So we shrug our shoulders and give up and just try to figure out how to get as much joy as we possibly can from the humdrummity of, our life. Even if our life's a fantastic one. I mean, even if it's filled with culture and travel and money and media and, yeah, great, right? Once you're no longer in front of the camera, you're with yourself, right? And you could say this lust for fame or lust for celebrity or lust for, being the darling of the media drives people absolutely insane. As one begins to explore the nature and texture of present experience, it becomes quite fascinating, quite strange, not what we thought it was. We maintain the hallucination of ourselves by not paying attention, by believing that the scientists know what this is, or zealots know what this is, or suicide bombers know what this is, or Monsanto knows what this is. Nobody knows what this is. No one knows what this present miracle is. But not that many people seem to care that nobody knows what this is. Instead, we habituate once again to thinking, yeah, we do know what this is. My feelings, my sentiments, my priorities, my preferences, the way I conduct myself, what I hope to get from people, what I might have to offer people. And we seem to forget the, the unyielding presentation that we don't know what this is, nor does it obey us. And we wonder if we can find some kind of happiness or ascension in the midst of this, which has nothing to do with accoutrements, right? I mean, if your consciousness is object-oriented, if your experience is object-oriented, then disappointment is your constant companion. Objects don't satisfy. Or if they do, it's brief, and the side effects can sometimes be harming. Suicide's one of those, yeah. So you see, we're streaming forth involuntarily spontaneously, unconditionally, as presence. That's what you have. You have this, but we don't know what this is. So we tend to ignore it and then busy ourselves with the hallucination of a virtual imagination of a life that I've created, that I think I'm living, and living well or living poorly. But that's not what this actually is. I mean, it's hard to convince 7-point-something billion of us. It's like, hey, team, what you are agonizing over with respect to what you think your life is not actually what this is. To indulge or take the steps into that kind of discovery, to peel away the onion of yourself, of the texture of present experience, of what it might be, what it might not be, how it presents itself to you, whether there's any gifts in it for you. That you only do by invitation. Something, as in whatever this is or isn't, has to invite you to be curious enough to find out what this presence might actually be. Otherwise, life's good or life sucks, and I don't give a shit. And, you know, honestly or observably, that's how most people, if they're people, function. Some part of the trajectory can be accompanied by or motivated by wanting to mitigate, lessen, or end suffering. Maybe we do meditation, and maybe we do yogas, and maybe we drink ayahuasca. We do what we can. We join a few meetups. We get some messages from the other side. We start wearing bright clothes. You know, we fulfill ourselves or complete ourselves with spiritual accoutrement and ritual. But that won't do. You want to get under the skin of what we can call present experience or reality as if there were one. You want to get under the skin. You want to find out. You want to feel this in the way that it is capable of being felt. And that has nothing to do with the accoutrements of self, with how you frame what you call your life. So there's you could say, a necessary abandonment, which can happen very suddenly and very quickly in someone's life, or it can take the greater part of their life. For someone, once invited, of course, to wean themselves from the myth of consciousness itself, from the myth of all accoutrements, from the myth of space and time and a life lived. You could say you become fascinated by presence itself. That it's so, not what's in it for me. Right? Yeah. That's a certain kind of abandonment. It's a certain kind of renunciation. But it's not like you have to give away the accoutrements that you've accumulated in your life, though you may, of course. What you're giving away is something more dear to you than the stuff in your closet, the stuff in your garage. What you're giving away is your one's continued fascination with delusion. That's renunciation. See? Not I don't touch money, I don't have intercourse, I only eat what I get in a bowl. I mean, that's cool too. But that's not the true giving away. The true renunciation, the true giving away is you are not encumbered by the presentation of consciousness, sensate consciousness. Now that's strange because we think in order to be satisfied as a person, as a human, as a body, I need stuff and it's got to smell a certain way and it's got to be put in the places it needs to be.
Pyramid scheme. Oh, yes. If you don't walk out with balls, then something wrong.
Magic balls.
If you get out of here with magic
Making it
miracle
little,
balls.
too. They're probably out there.
Well, that's kind of nice.
Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah.
And you
Are they
just squeeze
squishy or
and
like?
they're kind of smushy.
We're back. We're live. We're back.
And now for the Miracle Ball commercial.
And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, it's a demonstration of miracle balls.
So,
Oh, I said magic balls before. It's miracle balls.
I
I like magic balls.
I prefer magic balls.
I'm going to create a product called Magic Balls. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I think it's going to sell.
probably out.
I'd like to put my advance order in.
Probably already trademarked and patent up the ass for like days on
In the
end.
adult store.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's another type of magical balls.
So much for the nature of reality. We're moving into the nature of smut. It usually goes
Gone
there.
to magic
It
balls.
usually goes there. It's usually around there.
Everybody needs a break from reality from time to time. May as well go where it counts. Something sneaks up on you. It taps you on the shoulder. It presents itself as wonder. The cessation of continuity of familiar voices in your head. As space, availability. And you know it by feeling it, not through concept, not through imposition, not through seduction, manipulation. No, you know the invitation or presence of your own freedom by feeling it. So it catches your attention, you know, maybe when you're 2, 6, 16, 26, 60, you know, it visits upon you throughout your life. And we're nourished by those brief interludes of the felt acknowledgement of freedom, of presence. But we're usually too busy or wound up, right, with our own agenda to give ourselves over to those invitations. So they're easily forgotten and they don't last long. Maybe we share them with an intimate friend, and we're surprised that our friend has had those moments also. But, you know, that was fun, and we go out shopping or drink, or both, I hope. And who knows in what order. Yeah. So our informal get-togethers are dedicated, if you will, to feeling this. Consciously, willingly, voluntarily withdrawing from the world of imagination and fantasy. And resting in the sensation, resting in the lightheartedness, the elasticity, the revelation of this freedom. The depth of the satisfaction that comes is not because you've been given something. The depth of the satisfaction that may come is that you're relieved of craving. One is relieved of craving because presence is nourishing. Presence is sufficient, more than sufficient. It's immersive. It's demanding in a good way. So you give your heart over to the presence that is yourself, not anyone else. You give your heart over to the presence that is yourself, and that is the cessation of craving. And it's challenging in a frenetic social didactic called the United States or wherever to turn your loyalty and your affection over to the cessation of craving. You think, well, I can't support myself that way, right? So we very easily become engaged in the responsibilities and obligations of conducting ourselves as reliable adults, hopefully, right? Emotionally mature, hopefully, adults in the so-called world. And we think that that's where the gold ring is, that's the ticket. That's what everyone else is doing. I would be shunned or foolish if I were to withdraw somehow from the neuroticism, the psychosis of conformist reality, and reside in cessation. You know, that's why there are monastic cultures, probably abused these days, right? But you could see that the monastic way of life was a way for people that wanted were nourished by, you know, dedicating themselves to cessation and the end of craving, could thrive and do that. But there's so much other, what would you call it, pressure and behavioral schism that accompanies modern day monasticism.
Baggage.
There's a lot of baggage.
Yeah. So we have a kind of a challenge to live cooperatively, participating in some degree of conformist reality so we can be useful, make whatever modest living we're capable of making, and tune and turn our attention to the nature of being. There's always something to do. Fortunately, there's always something not to do. It's amazing what happens is we learn to tune our attention to presence as felt sense and witness its perturbations without assigning a story. Otherwise, we're racked with the pride and sorrow of living in a story. You could say we're living in our own lives vicariously because we're not actually present with the miracle of presence. We are functioning and dwelling in a hysterical manner. in a virtual reality created by thought and imagination and sentiment. So we're living vicariously through ourselves, pushed around by unreality. When we settle down a little bit, and the engine of distraction and the engine of craving and the engine of time and the engine of story deflate. Then you can feel yourself. You're not imposing anything upon present experience. Present experience is not imposing anything upon you. We don't live in that loop of self-justification that is operating all the time. Stories I tell myself, decisions I make, what I like, what I don't, conversations I'm having with myself about everybody else. Yeah. We discover a quality of being that is untainted by fantasy. That would be this. It's always this. You know, we think, oh, I have to go see, you know, this person and this program and that program, or, you know, wherever it is I have to go. Where do you have to go? It doesn't mean you shouldn't go someplace and enjoy yourself, or go someplace and have a shitty time. But the real question is, you know, is this enough? Is present experience, whatever it may be, enough? That's the question. Is there sufficiency here? Nourishment here? Affection here? Dynamism, interest, curiosity, joy perhaps? Or not? And if not, I'm enrolled in objects, right? If not, I'm enrolled in time, I'm enrolled in self, I'm enrolled in objects. And all of that enrollment in self and time and objects is aiming where? Curiously, right back here, where it started from, to feel the cessation of craving. We don't really want objects. What we want is the cessation that is accompanied, however brief, by the acquisition of the object. What is joy? Is joy the owning of a thing, or is joy the release of self that accompanies? Yeah. It's funny. We go in search of objects, not for the object itself, though we think maybe, but we're actually going in search of the object for freedom from self, for joy, which is unconditional, non-dependent, not object smothered. Joy is not object-based or object-smothered. Joy is this. These kinds of explorations, textural explorations, conversational explorations, are dangerous to what you're not. They're threatening to what you're not. Hopefully, ideally, they're nourishing for what you are. But that invitation has to come somehow. Some kind of opening, some kind of trap door that invites you in to you, to a whole different dimension of how you experience experiencing. Otherwise, people to meet, planes to catch, things to buy. Yeah. That's it. You can go. Get out.
Here's your miracle ball. Be on your way.
Really. Grab a couple of miracle balls and hit the road.
Yeah. I'm just like, I want a miracle ball.
There you go.
Here's your miracle.
We meet this way.
One on each side of your spine, too.
One on each side.
Wegmans. We hang out we loiter at Wegmans. We loiter at Panera. We loiter at the Hattery.
Because
We-
Wegmans has a cafe, there's plenty of space, you can stay there a long time.
Anywhere where people are
We-
going to stay for free for long
We're not-
periods of time.
We walk around.
Meditative stance in Wegmans.
Yeah.
We're usually making bad jokes and laughing.
Public meditation.
Yeah, that we can be loud and inappropriate and curse and such, and not have people throw us out.
Yeah. So we meet at Pebble Hill.
It's better to be completely flat. Then you can bend your knees or.
We meet at Pebble Hill on Thursday nights like this one. And the other times we meet are just, restaurants in town. Yeah.
How often do you do that outside?
Way too much.
Way too much. Four times a week, we have this
There's a
conversation.
calendar online now, so we can keep track. That's how.
4 times a week, we meet like this, and twice a week, we do Slacker yoga, whoever shows up.
Tuesday night you
There are
can,
others.
you can, yeah,
Sometimes. they
Yes,
do it
and
online.
on Tuesday
you can tune in online. for your-
night, we do
the
a
Safety
video.
and warmth of your home.
We do a video thing.
Yeah.
It's called Zoom. It's like a video thing with boxes. And, Hi, how you doing? Great. Yeah. So that's what we do. That's what I do. Everyone else can fuck off. And if someone else shows up, then that's what we do.
That's a bosh, Joe.
What? So harsh. Yeah, we have an Asian friend that
That's our friend.
No way.
we have an Asian friend that's so harsh.
That says that about you,
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah.
It's just like, I was just imitating any particular, all the Asians.
You're so harsh.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
So the Zoom meeting on Tuesdays, how do you do that? Do you have like a website or something that connects
Well,
to that?
you can use an iPad or a laptop or even a telephone.
There's a number, like if you go to his,
You just join a meeting. You join a Zoom meeting, and it will put the app on your device, whatever that is, and bada boom, you're there.
you have to sign up for the app first, or can you just do it?
No, it'll do it.
It's just on your website.
Okay.
And there's like a little
Yeah.
Zoom link. And it does download. You have to download it. I don't know if it does it on its own or what, but.
It does it on its own. And these meetings we broadcast live on YouTube. No one's watching. But they're also recorded,
Was that?
It's a nice
You can
side
go
shot.
online and listen to free recordings
Yeah.
for days on end.
Yeah. And once in a while we get together, do some Slacker yoga, this craniosacral thing we do occasionally, little training things, come together and hang out.
Some kid will eat and die.
Stuff.
Pick it up.
Unless it's made of peanuts. I don't think there's a problem.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for
Sure.
joining
We do
us.
a lot of, yeah.
Francine, when you take those balls out, you're supposed to quickly move to one side, quickly move it out, other side, quickly move it out, and just like
I know
relax
how
into
to
the
take
floor.
balls out.
Like if you- The idea is to really relax around and put all your weight into it, completely relax, and then move them out real quick and then relax into the floor.
Oh,
Like
so
not
you're
to
not
like,
supposed to leave them?
you're not supposed to do that. Because what you're doing there is like you're tensing back up again. It's supposed to be
Oh.
about like really relaxing.
Oh, I
into them.
see.
I feel like I'm just getting a butt massage as I'm doing. I'm like, oh.
You can do that too.
So just relax and then take it out.
You know how you like to lay with your, like your legs apart kind of on the floor? You do that a lot. You know, like you're laying there, but you put your the palms of your feet together.
See it, we'll put that away.
Have fun and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, you
You
too.
know how you lay like this? You're laying like that, but you put your legs out like this. Not
I know
responding.
what you mean, like this.
Yeah, like this. If
Yeah.
you do that and you put that just at
Yeah.
the bottom of your sacrum and you kind
Can
of
I
hang
just
your
say,
spine from
you
it.
guys never seem more like a cult than you have tonight.
Really? Oh, no.
Really?
No, you're just, yeah.
Oh, geez.
How so?
Come back.
Hell out of her.
Come back, we'll do it differently.
Turn into a
Redo.
systematic, miracle ball exercise.
There you go. You do that.
I
and you
know,
hang
it's
your-
hard, you can't.
You kind of hang your sacrum from it and let your back relax.
When's
into
the
it.
pizza
So
coming?
instead of being arched, your back goes into a bow, kind of,
This right?
as you breathe. I think so. You
When
have the bow
Ken
on your
came,
sacrum.
whatever his name
Yeah.
was.
Yes.
I think so.
That was
You
a
can
nice-
scoot your torso up towards.
But
your
he
head
was like,
farther
you know,
if you wanna,
a seeker
roll it down your
So-
sacrum a little bit
Yes.
toward your tailbone.
fucker.
Definitely a
Type.
secret fucker.
So, you know,
you just take it out?
I don't, you know,
I just
you were pretty gentle with him, I
just
thought.
lay and breathe. See what it feels like.
Yes.
See if your
Yeah.
back.
Maybe I'm
just
softening.
relaxes into it.
Well, maybe that night, I don't know. It's hard to say if
Kinda
it's
like thick and
sticking.
heavy.
Yeah, really.
Well, we were thinking heavy. I need a little relaxation.
Well, you
You know,
kind
yeah.
of qualified, you know,
Gentle.
like the,
You know what, the flow's like steady.
You know, your
firm, and,
critiques
like,
of-
There's no like let up.
Picked up some pointers from Jeannie. Just smooth as silk.
No, it was like heavy instead. Steady and firm.
No, I thought it was lovely.
I have no idea.
I'm sorry, what are we talking about? The presentation, this evening's
was
presentation?
lovely.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was thinking as you were
Braiding,
talking, I'm gonna like be listening to this again. It was like, it's good. I like it.
No, you
Oh, yeah.
can't, you can't please all the secret fuckers all the time.
No, I'm pleased. It was not quizzing. It was just.
well, yeah, I mean, she absolutely did not know anything about this group. She just kind of wandered over from the yoga class. So
Yeah,
You
besides
know.
what I tried to tell her earlier, which I'm sure was not good.
there's no, you know, reading of the website and the, you know.
No, that
like
helps.
a vampire. Someone's there. Ah!
There isn't any of that. in this
No,
book,
I
though.
mean,
There's no
yeah.
grabbiness, which is what
She was curious. I mean, you know,
You
Francine
know what?
did
There's
get
no grabbiness.
grabbiness.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
there's no
I
grabbiness.
totally understand. I like
But
that.
there's like
Why don't we just turn
But
into
yeah,
like
we
gossiping
almost projected,
weirdos all of a sudden
you
after
know,
that girl left?
personality.
That just happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
not maybe not as dry.
You know what I mean? Like-
Happiness, but
I know what you mean.
this is
I do.
like heavy.
Hello.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was heavier than any other time or heavier than normal. I don't know. It's just really for the moment.
Yeah.
Did I blow it with the balls? I just was gonna use them because my back's been killing.
I don't think there's anything big about using that. I mean, it's cash.
My bag is
She goes to-
these miracle
She
balls
goes
are
to
gonna do
Pebble
it.
Hill
I'm just
services. They're filled with, you know, quirky, whimsical types, right?
No, I felt like she had no exposure.
She had no
No
exposure,
idea what
yeah.
was,
She
what
knew.
was about to come. And then there was like
Yeah.
sort of a very, and I felt like thick, heavy sort of an atmosphere and like, you know, four women and a male and it was like, you know, what the fuck, why are there only women here? It's in my head.
Well, that's because you have
Firework.
issues with that whole thing, but that's
I do.
beside the
It's all
point.
mine. It's all
I don't
mine.
blame you. I would too.
Well, it wasn't as interactive as it
Why is it
usually
always only
is, You know what I
females?
mean? But I didn't know, you know,
I liked it. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Of course, I
You
like
had a
everything.
sermon. It was a sermon, Jeff.
yeah.
You guys met with
Come
new
here.
people.
So Jeff will talk to us. If he didn't talk, I'd be disappointed.
It's coming to you.
What is it?
I don't know. I thought it was a mosquito, so I freaked out.
This is absolutely sneaking up. Like I can feel it getting a little louder. At times it's like really loud, at other times it's just, stuff's different. It's just different. And that's based on a story of a past, but I don't know.
It's hard to talk about this group outside the group, otherwise it doesn't really translate so well, I notice.
It's like Fight Club.
Yeah, to people who are not like into it at all, especially like if I
Especially if you're not poetic at all.
because I think otherwise it does sound like some sort of weird cult, like
It's not about the group, it's about looking into the nature of reality. It's a hell of a lot more fun to do it, kick it around together than just by yourself. There's a certain power that kind of comes through based on ourselves as a group that I think really works, or we wouldn't be showing up. You need confirmation from others.
Helps to
You
just
have a
have
whole
a
life
life
of
of
being directed in some way. So it's nice to have people who are like, oh, yeah.
I just feel like I just come because it's like something to do, like anything else I do anymore.
Francine's like the skeptic. I like everything. That lots of different personality types. Despite the fact
just
it's not
passing time. Something to do.
I think like
Well,
this-
it's a fun experiment.
Yeah.
And I feel like everything, depending on how you so-called approach it, is that. It just depends, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so seems easier to do that in depending on where you're at, you know what I mean? Like to come here and experiment is seemingly a lot easier than to go into like some kind of space that's
Yeah.
very contrived and there's not a lot of room for, experimenting, say.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room for it. Yeah. They lock you up.
Yeah, they try to. And you're like, never mind, what'd you have for lunch today?
Sign yourself in.
No, I want to know what you
What
had
are
for
you
lunch
doing for the
today.
weekend? Hey, other than that, them Eagles.
Yeah. Fly, Eagles, fly.
It's a warm day, isn't it, for October?
Yeah, let's talk about the weather.
We're starting to affect the weather. We better calm it down a little bit. This is not something that, you know this. This is just not something that most people relate to.
It doesn't translate. It's like, you have some sort of a mute thing that happened. I mean, at least I do. It's like if I were to talk to a muggle or something, it just,
I can't even talk to myself about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's funny.
Yeah.
No, I really can't. I constantly try
yeah.
to explain to myself what is going on and what is,
Yeah.
what I'm feeling, what this different thing is, and try to frame it in some way. And it's just like, it's bizarre.
What really puzzles me is the different angles that you can come at this from. Very, very different angles. This is one angle to come at it from. And there's a lot of different angles. Jeannie came at it from a particular angle, I think. It's
Jeannie's
that little
an
people. I don't know. There's a lot of different angles. I don't buy the one way. I just don't. I want the buffet style. Take a little bit of everything.
Country and Western. I'm sorry, I'm making them references. Like, sometimes I feel like we're also rifting. We don't even know what the other one's talking about or something,
We might as well have spoken about it.
We're just like responding to internal stimuli, and everybody's responding to their own internal stim, as we say in the business.
that look at relating to the world through objects, like seeing nothing but just objects versus, I don't know how to put it. I mean, objects just, you made the point that they're just not satisfying. They don't give you what they promise, whether it's that next purchase or there's a poverty to just chasing after objects that most of normal consciousness lives in. And to turn into a renunciate, you can turn that into an object. Well, I'm going to be a renunciate. And then you're living in objects again.
I thought it was neat what you said, like struck me, like the seeing the geometry of it. Like you're constantly, you want something, whatever it is, call it, not just material objects, but you want something, and you kind of ruminate about it. And however that is that you do, you think about how you're going to get it, try to whatever, figure it out, blah, blah, blah. And then when you get it, there's relief. There is relief because you can stop thinking about that object because you've gotten it. But then you just create another one because you don't see what's going on. So it's not necessarily chasing the objects, it's the geometry of seeing, the constant whatever that is.
Object chasing or object satisfaction is a symptom of what? It's a symptom of the presence of sensate consciousness.
It's funny because on the way here I kept thinking about objects in the mirror might be closer than they appear.
Much closer than they appear.
Yeah, and I was laughing about that they're much closer.
Much closer.
So it's part of it. It's just part of the, I guess you'd say, the dream.
Well, before one becomes enamored of the pursuit of objects, this is felt, and then it appears to itself. This is appearing to you. This is appearing to itself. And what sense do we make of it? Well, typically, if we're talking, human, like we're living on a planet, man. We got to do something. So we interpret the presentation of sensate consciousness as body-mind. And so that's objects. So what infuses sensate consciousness are objects or experiencing. When experiencing is disinterested but present, then there's a withdrawal from objects. But if experiencing is not yet mature in the way that we understand that word, then one is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. We're object tethered, object bound. We experience ourselves as an object. We experience ourselves as a subject. We experience things outside ourselves as being other subjects or obviously objects. And the entire plenum of experiencing, which is fantastic beyond imagination, beyond comprehension, becomes being insane and incensed with the otherwise neutral presentation of sensate consciousness as objects and space-time. Faster than that.
Can I interrupt for a second? Just put a little parentheses there.
Say again?
I feel like I may have insulted everyone in the room, not you.
Oh, it's okay if you insult me.
Yeah, we don't
I was
care.
talking about whatever I said about what's going on here. It's not a meditation group and there's the atmosphere, and then there's sister wives and exercising. What I meant was, if I were like, I was projecting
Yeah.
that was her personality, that might be my personality actually, would come into could be like, wanting to know like, what the fuck's happening here?
No, I had
Yeah, it's like a bizarre
Yeah.
Comedy Central skit. You're like, what the?
I was conscious of her too, and
But I was pretending that I was sort of seeing what was possible if I were a guest.
She
And
wouldn't
had
be the
never
first person
had no
that ran out the door.
exposure. I did not in any way need to say anything about anybody.
No,
Fun stuff.
yeah, I come for the insults.
God, your wife is such a bitch.
She completes me.
You're a dick. She's been
There you go. Yeah, and we sell miracle balls.
healing sessions.
All right, we can like close that parentheses and move on back, whatever the hell you were talking
Okay,
about. Sweet about.
thank you. I feel so validated here.
If I come and I don't get insulted at least once, I feel like I haven't got my money's worth.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'm not even leaving a donation. That's it.
Right.
Bullshit.
Right.
Give you $2.
It's not an argument. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
It's like the
Those are coconuts.
Little Shop of Horrors where the sadist finds out that wait, he's a masochist or something like that, and he gets upset because he enjoys the pain. Wasn't that like with Steve Martin and Rick
Oh,
Moranis?
candy bar, candy bar, candy bar. When he's doing his dental work.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he likes it. He's like, candy bar, candy bar.
There you have it.
That's right.
We have issues.
We have issues.
Hey, let's face it, it is disconcertingly unnatural to rest in the self.
You mean the self with a capital S?
Though it's the only thing that's occurring. We are, diversionary. We are impish.
Game here.
Yeah. I mean, consciousness is impish. It's diversionary. It fancies itself, plays around, tells a joke. The moment we suggest what this is or what it isn't, what it might be, what the rules are, we're playing with Legos, psycho Legos.
Psycho Legos. Like giant toddlers with psycho Legos.
That's pretty much it. Yeah,
Bad parenting and psycho Legos.
that's all we've got here is bad parenting and psycho Legos. Yeah,
Well, no one else supervision would be more like it.
yeah.
Well, bad
Hi.
parenting. Jamie happened before.
See, there's a sister.
Sister wives.
Yeah.
Elder. They call them elders in
It's just
the,
the same crew that was in the picture.
in the Mormon faith.
Lisa. And
Hi. Pull up a seat. Tell us all your woes.
Where should I sit?
You want a miracle ball?
pillow or a chair?
Yeah, it's going to magic balls also.
Comes with a little book that's helpful.
There's more than just Sister Wives here. Katie, come back.
See, you ask and you shall receive. There is another penis in the room. Ta-da!
Hi, Jamie. We love you.
Thanks,
flattering.
thanks for bringing your penis to the show,
Hey,
David.
man, that's the least I do.
Try a miracle ball.
This never happened around Ramana Maharshi. Why is it happening here?
Do you know that for sure?
Yeah, no, you don't.
Oh, those things are great.
There you
Miracle
go.
balls.
He knows all about miracle
They're
balls.
not quite the real thing, but
It's
you know.
some product placement
pretty good.
Yeah.
for the Truman Show.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, I use those things. I only have
Use
one of
those.
them. And I don't know where the other one is. So.
It
I hear
is
the
a
hum of the
miracle ball
universe. What is
night.
that?
What's that?
I hear the hum of the universe.
Oh, that's, I think, a fan.
It's a fan.
Air conditioner or refrigerator maybe?
I think that's the
Bathroom vent.
Oh.
bathroom vent fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that Tuesday night hum thing. That was fun. I know it's
I'm
coming
missing all the good stuff someday.
Basically, it's just been a giant miracle ball advertisement. And since you already know about those, you're good.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
They are good. It is interesting, just pressure against against an aching part of the body
Yes.
seems to, I mean, just a relaxation.
Is that why I hit my head on the wall all the time?
You got to relax into it.
Boom, boom, boom. Cutting is good too.
Cutting, great, thanks.
Yeah.
I'll try that next.
Just sharpened by knives.
There's themes, every night is, every time we have one, there's different themes.
It's about-
Yes.
Tonight it's somatic, it's miracle balls, it's Sister Wives.
You chased somebody off already.
We're easily diverted.
Yeah.
It's part of this. It doesn't have a good focus. It just does what it wants.
Always really easy.
Do what you want with us.
It's easier to surrender. I've been grooving on surrender lately, and it's working. Just like
I've been doing the opposite, and it's not working.
Fighting.
So there.
You win.
I've just been affirmed.
And I also have miracle balls. So,
I haven't been using them.
oh, well, that's your problem.
Oh, you're too busy not surrendering.
It is like if just an unconditional surrender is so much easier than just trying to insist that it be your way. It's just surrender. You just let it have you. And I know there's nobody to surrender and there's nobody to let it have, but there's been a softening and kind of like a whatever.
Whatever.
And a little more laughing at sort of what presents itself. It's lightening up. Thank God.
We think this is something by not paying attention, by getting lost in the impish stream of implication. We place ourselves in the story as a creature, action figure. Paul Hederman likes to use that term, right? As an action figure.
They're like one of those psycho Legos that are people. They have little people heads.
Yes, little Legos that are people.
Little Sims.
Yeah. It's curious. It's disconcerting. It's hidden in plain sight. That this isn't anything. The profusion will not let up. It's fractally relevant, but it's not made of anything. It's just implication. Sensate consciousness is the appearance of implication, felt. So for however long it explores itself within the field of fractal implication as a felt sense, impishly, right? Coyote energy. Right? So that's how our lives are fashioned. There's a natural, there's an organic, maturing or refining, call it a process, trajectory, mutation. Where we naturally withdraw from impish association and implication. Not because we're Debbie Downer. Whoa. But because we're nourished by something subtler.
Well, it's almost, some of the other stuff drops away before the nourishment really feels like it's going to be there to support, but the shit's dropping away anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't line up in the most, relaxing manner. It can line up, you can have the luxury of a dark night of the soul. I had one just the other day.
When I ran out of ice cream.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I had a dark night of the soul in the middle of the day.
A good bowel movement can fix that sometimes.
And that's all it took. Unity consciousness, man. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Forget about it. So craving, persists in the field of sensate consciousness, exploring itself. Becoming inebriated with implication being something. Implication is something. So I got to do something about something, do something about myself, do something about the world, do something about the way that I'm feeling, do something about anything I can get my hands on to do something about. See, this is inebriated with implication being something. But we can chill the fuck back and just see it's like, wow, man, this shit will not stop. This shit, whatever it is on a mission from God. And it just will not shut the fuck up. It's just streaming loud as can be, fractally and subfractally in your face as the presentation of sensate consciousness. Felt, dynamic, out of control. And we can get ripped up in it, by it, as it, and run the story of a life, satisfactorily or otherwise. Curiously, we can also effortlessly withdraw from the nonstop profusion of sensate consciousness and feel that.
And sensate consciousness also pertains to stuff in the head, right? I mean, not just senses, but mental.
Yes, all mentation. Yes,
Imaginings and
all imagination, all implication, all storyboarding, all assignment is.
Because it would be a relief to get lost in sensate stuff as opposed to this.
Yes, yes, yes. So, I mean, it's a 2 or 3 step process, right? As you withdraw naturally, organically, not through effort, right? Not through demand. You withdraw with no effort. So the streaming implication of sensate consciousness, which otherwise fascinates us, binds us, makes us think there's shit that we need to do about things, including ourselves, chills out. It can chill out very deeply. There's no limit to how chill this can chill as it is released from qualities. As one is released from the demonstration or the insistence of sensate consciousness itself. This is, true intimacy. But the intimacy as it melts, as the intimacy melts and what can be felt as a dipole, namely the duality of you feeling things in a certain way, right? That there's a convergence, if you will. The dipole stops being a dipole. Right here, just this as it is. One's trueness, call it your trueness, is not dual. Your trueness is non-dual. It's not confounded by subject or object. You could say you are the great listening.
The great identifier.
Yes, that too.
Maker of identities.
Yes, right? That's concomitant, right? The great emptiness, the great listening is accompanied without delay by the great, right, maelstrom of sensate consciousness. And these are not two. Yeah.
You just it feels like just shifting through different modes of attention. So
Yes.
I can experience myself as myself very heavily
Yes.
framed and whatnot, and I can experience myself as everything else, Jamie, everything in the room in some bizarre manner. And then you can get into the intricacies of yourself, all the little tingles and bits and pieces, and so
Yes.
just zooming in and out fractally and
Yeah.
it's just constantly
Yes.
doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
But
what
to
it,
place that it's just this and that's it, and this is my little cocoon
right.
bubble.
Yeah.
Is where it's
Yeah.
that's
Right.
bizarre. How did
Very
that
strange. And it's funny, it's to use the language choice that this is doing that, right? Is interesting because there's nothing other than this as it is presenting, not
Yeah.
that there's something above, below, behind that's doing a thing.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the singularity.
Yeah.
Yeah, the unicity of being is holy shit. Right, and we're not assigning an author to the presentation of sensate consciousness and its relief. So it's not like a thing is doing a thing. here, right? Here, this, right? Unbounded miracle.
Yeah, that's where it gets tricky to talk about, I feel like, because, yeah, when I said, the way I said it, the attention, like placing attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, reporting on it that way is quite cogent.
It
Yes,
sounds like there's something behind placing its attention.
that's right.
It can sound that way.
Yes, that's right. Well, language, duh, right? Language is object subject driven. It insists on someone or something being of a certain nature.
Right.
Yeah, right. Whereas whatever reality might be, don't ask me, is not confined to
Semantics.
semantics or the, dualism that language implies. Yeah.
I just read something today. There were some neurosurgeon was poking around an epileptic person's brain. And there's this structure, and I cannot remember the name of it. It's like a fold, and it's very minute, and it may be pervasive throughout the brain.
Yes.
But that wasn't clear from the article. But the structure, when they stimulate it, the person might be reading. In other words, this is done with the person conscious.
Yes, right.
When they stimulate it, the person, according to them,
Yes,
from outsiders' point of view,
right.
goes totally unconscious,
Whoa,
but with eyes open and all that stuff.
whoa, yeah.
But they report it as like unconscious. And it's like, I wonder, conscious, unconscious, black, white, they're just
Yeah.
using terms.
That's why all the most successful zombies eat brains.
Yeah. Yeah, you ever see Heroes? There was that brain here.
Yeah, that's right. The brain eating guy. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fascinating that the person will be reading or something, and then if they stimulate, it does the opposite of what you think. If they stimulate it, they just go into sort of a blank stare.
Wow.
Or if they're talking, they'll just stop talking.
Must be the God particle.
And then they let go, and they start where they left off, and they don't even recognize anything's changed.
Wow. Yeah.
But,
Open-eyed vacuity, and they don't.
Yeah.
And the subject doesn't have any memory of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I wonder.
That's
what
this.
happens here. That's why we can't remember what we talk about.
Yeah. What do you guys
happens?
talk about? I don't know. They stimulate that thing, and
Yeah.
I fucking flatline. Then the meeting's over.
That's right. There is that 9-volt battery thing that you can put in different parts. It's some kind of, you
Yeah.
rig it up. It's real, not too hard if you know. a
Oh,
little bit.
there's like a trends, like the
Tens.
ECD light
It
kind
can-
of thing.
Yeah, it can mellow you out. It
Yeah.
depends where you put it. You
Yeah.
might not have a great effect if you put it.
It's like help people with depression or something like that one. There's different
Yeah,
things.
but there's like a lot of stuff on YouTube about just like a DIY type of thing. You just
Oh, yeah.
do it.
Cheap thrills.
Zap.
But energy, like,
Mhm.
boy, I could use some energy. Maybe I should do
There you go.
Get
Yeah.
your miracle balls out.
Grab a miracle ball and a battery, and we'll see you next week. Well, the fun thing about, so-called sipping presence, it's, dare I say, constructively dissociative. So
I'm sorry, did you say destructively?
constructively
Constructive.
dissociative.
I'm just,
Dissociating what from what?
When you're sipping presence, you're just feeling.
distancing from that sense of I'm with somebody and feeling.
You're just feeling, so story's not running.
More pure sense of.
Yeah, when you're sipping presence, story is to some degree or a large degree abated. So you're, in a sense, constructively dissociative from, right, the world of story. Yeah. And so it would make sense that it would be difficult to have some kind of reliable recall of, what was spoken about.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you're not
Yeah.
recording things, then it's like always kind of, it's bizarre.
If there's no emphasis on that, yeah.
Yes.
It's like, why bother to remember?
Yes.
That's why I have such a lousy memory.
That's right.
I know it doesn't matter.
No. Right.
It's funny how thoughts are like if you're depressed or you don't, it's like, oh, everybody hates me or I'm a loser or something like that, And not from personal experience or anything. But then it's sort of like, then it changes and it's like, oh, this is interesting, or, wow, look at that, or wow, but it's still thoughts, you know what I mean? So it's still,
Yeah, it's still,
yeah.
but it makes a huge difference on mood. And I can tell you, just today, there's something that I have, like, I'm so far behind in all my projects. I mean, both at home and at work. It's just like, it's really weighing me down.
That's what we call you, Jamie, far behind.
Yeah. And I delivered this stack of reports that I had to get out, and I just handed them to the guy and I talked to him about what it was. And, I mean, they don't know what I do. They just, I don't care what he does with them. He's supposed to sign off on them. He can do whatever he wants. But just that, all of a sudden my mood, like, just like, boom, it went up, like, because it was pretty low, So I don't mean it was high in the sky, but I mean, it wasn't bad for a while.
For a while, you didn't suck?
I didn't suck too bad.
I sucked less.
I sucked less.
Yeah, nice.
But I'm so affected by that, and I'm so affected by this impending feeling of like everything is overdue,
Yeah.
It's the felt sense of a pressure that's outside of you that
and
is just constantly, it won't let up.
And I'm like making it up as I go. I mean, I'm like, I remember yesterday I was thinking, this is like so arbitrary, I can just drop it, but I can't seem to just drop it.
It's Mars. Sounds like Mars.
Mars, some sort of Saturn, I think, maybe.
Saturn, it's Saturn. It's not Mars, it's Saturn.
Or Saturn.
Halloween. It's probably Halloween.
Well, it's interesting. It's not like the content or circumstances can be actually held responsible for whatever foreboding there is.
Give that to it,
Well, it's you don't know. You don't know where it comes from, right? I mean, it's an ephemeral, magical presentation. It makes it look like outside circumstances are imposing upon you, or your own predilection, right? Psychological, emotional predilection is, projecting something. But you can't say with any certainty at all what is responsible for that this is appearing in your experience.
No, or how it goes away. It's just
Right. Yeah.
too bizarre.
I get it. If you hand in a so-called stack of, obligations, and they're no longer obligations, you get a little bump. Yeah.
I mean, let's move on to the next stack of obligations.
Well, that's just
but
it.
At least
that's just it. You know,
Is it-
That's
we
the
can
object
become-
thing. You're back to that.
yes,
And it's not like that needs to change, but seeing the geometry of that, you accomplish something, that's your object, your goal, whatever it is, and then you get a little relief because you can stop thinking about it or whatever it is, you know, for a little bit, and then you just create another.
yes,
The thing is, I'm sort of, in this perpetual self-destruction mode, because I know that in this one job in particular, I have to hustle. I got to get these things done, and if they're not perfect, I don't think anybody's going to know the difference. But I'm such an obsessive asshole about it that I can't just let it. I can't do it wrong. I cannot seem to do it quickly. I
Huh.
have to do all the steps and all that jazz.
yeah,
It's just ridiculous.
yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
drugs could help.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Marijuana help me
Drugs
because I have
or-
the same problem with cleaning and just
I'm the opposite. I'm like, cut corners, cut corners.
Yeah, well, I know people can do that.
yeah.
But
Don't
it's the other
open high cupboards at her place. You don't know what's going to fly out of there.
she needs cocaine, we need marijuana.
Oh, witness.
Yeah,
I can choose to ignore certain things,
Yeah.
and I just push that aside. But what I'm concentrating on, I just have to seem to do it the way.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I had a conversation with my friend and she
Oh,
told me the
see.
same thing today. There's something in the air.
she's Jamie.
She may have
Jamie
been
is
patterning. It's like repeated patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it goes to, early imprinting
Probably.
with respect to attention seeking or validation. I mean, it's, there's also so-called Enneagram influence or astro, right? Logical influence, karmic influence, in terms of how we relate to the curious vicissitudes of the ungrateful gift of living. Yeah.
But it's clear with what you just said that you can't navigate that shit. Where are you even going to start? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to pick you can just, that's
Yeah.
what people do. They pick, I'll pick astrology, or let's go back to when I was 2 and we'll work from there, and
Yeah.
It's infinite. It's infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
infinite.
why
All you can
bother?
do is see what it's doing, and that's it. And then, maybe
Yeah.
something opens. You're like,
It's better to drop the whole affair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're no good if you're not conscientious. The universe comes tumbling apart if you don't play your part in being conscientious and detailed and meticulous, which
Yeah.
might
And working really hard.
include, some kind of obsessive, mind fuck when it comes to handling tasks and projects.
Yeah, the problem though is that it just gets so overwhelming, it just throws me back into a total non-action mode.
Well, that's
I
good.
just can't cope with it. And
Yeah.
but I won't do that, just bust through it and don't worry about the details.
Yeah.
I just get a
Feast or famine.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
catatonic.
Sure, catatonic, right? Well, who knows? I mean, that's kind of fun too. It's like you've created the
I
hallucination
find
of things.
addictions,
Yeah.
whatever they,
You feel you were going to say something?
Well, you participate in the creation of this being overwhelming, and you go to some kind of catatonia, and that's actually nourishing somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get there as a pleasurable interlude. You force yourself there by participating in, psychic overwhelm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I like
space.
self-torture.
It might be easier
Yeah.
to lighten up, whatever that suggests, do the
Well-
projects you can do, and go to catatonia voluntarily.
It just
Yeah.
came to me because I feel like if there was a
Take
relating,
up
I've
bowling.
done the
Bowling.
same thing. But what I feel like I was doing, if there was anything to say, is I was hyper focused on the persona, on getting things, and so I couldn't just drop it. I had to go into it so bad it would fail miserably because I just couldn't take it because of the overwhelm, and then I would just drop it
Right,
in a
right.
catatonic state.
Yeah.
But I couldn't just drop it because I was obsessed with
Yeah.
becoming someone, doing something, accomplishing something, not messing up, you know what I mean?
like
But
little
in the
beaver
long
building a
run, all you
dam or
end up
something,
doing is
yeah.
dropping it anyway.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
drop it because you're overwhelmed and you
Automatically.
go on a walk or something.
Yeah, that happens to me too. And
So,
this week I
it's funny.
spaced somebody's appointment and I thought I should really kind of look at my schedule, you know?
You what?
I totally forgot somebody's appointment.
Oh, and they just
didn't-
kind of barged in.
No, I mean, I just didn't show up to their appointment. And I thought, well, I could look at my schedule, but I
Bad
thought,
Santa.
I know I'm not going to do that. I mean, this is going to happen again. I can make all these vows, like I'm going to be organized and do
Yeah,
this, but I know I'm not. It's a I'm in the fuzz all the time, you know? It's like, I don't know. Like, I need like an app that says, you have an appointment now. Get out of your house, something, but.
There are apps like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
there
it's
are.
not-
You put it in your calendar,
probably
and set it to.
Yeah,
But I'm
She's
too
not gonna use
catatonic
it.
to load it.
Yeah, like I probably won't do it. I'll think whatever. I don't know.
All right.
But anyway,
I think what happens is that we all end up becoming kind of Rastafarian.
Rastafarian.
I mean, I wish, but I don't
Well, you
even.
have-
Well,
Water.
instead of self-torturing
Yeah.
to get there, you see that you don't have to do that. You can just, the same thing will happen no matter what. You might as well.
Such a-
Whoa, is that today?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My
Really?
bad.
It's my theory that I just notice my incompetence and the walls that I can't quite get past to be more like a quote better worker than I am. I think I just notice it more. It's really apparent when the walls go up and I'm not going to learn certain things. I'm not going to dig into a certain level. Not going there. And my whole life I thought you should go farther, you should do more. And I just watch myself, no, not doing that. And that's actually kind of funny. It's like, not doing that. But I'm just more aware of sort of why I've never been that sort of top shelf contributor that I always thought I should be.
Hmm,
I choose not to on a regular basis.
there you go.
No, I don't choose not to. It's not a choice. It's just not going to happen.
Hmm, Yeah.
Just not going to happen.
it's okay to be bar grade vodka.
Exactly.
Well, I think it's just that no matter what.
That's a great T-shirt. Now that's a great T-shirt.
Yeah, why pay for this stolly?
It seems like it's again back to
It
that
is.
object thing. It's like no matter what, you just want to go in search of something. You don't even know why you want to go in search of something. You just do.
We're addicted to the search.
Yeah, there is some level of honesty that seems to creep in where you're like, I got it pretty good. What am I looking for? Why am I on a search? There's not, it's like bizarre.
Yeah. Sensate consciousness is, you could say, extraordinarily restless.
Yeah,
But
it gets like a second of stillness and it's like, let's look for something. I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. And whatever sensate consciousness is or isn't can also reveal itself to itself with liberated disinterest. I mean, some people go to programs where their idea of liberation is high energy, efficient, practicality, and tasks done. Right? Yeah. Business and other kinds of training and seminars makes you efficient on the job. Boom, boom, boom. Right? So you try to apply that, the joy of that practicality to, everything in your life.
Sure as hell doesn't work for this.
Well, it depends where you're kind of placing your value system in some weird way.
Yes.
And that's the shift is like, well, if you want to hang out and loiter and you're kind of broke, but you make a lot of money per hour, that kind of works fine. You don't need whatever it is, right? Like the loyalty is kind of more on the loitering and the relation. It's not about getting ahead as a human being, though ironically,
Right.
that might come with easily.
Yeah, it
So,
could. Yeah, you don't know.
I mean, whatever.
It
But
could. That's right. Yeah, the emphasis is on the loitering.
and the experimenting, and kind of just
Yes.
playing in a bizarre.
Yeah, and being, overwhelmed by projects, whatever they may be, is, it's kind of like a never-ending carrot. You're never done. You're never done.
Mm-mm.
You're never
I
done.
felt that
You're
overwhelm.
never caught up.
I expressed that overwhelm when I was living alone in the woods doing dishes, and I was like, "What the?" And I had nothing to do. I had no job. I had nothing to do.
Right.
And that was like very clear. Like, what the
Wow.
fuck? Like
Yeah.
people are just gonna show up at my door and be like, "Excuse me, this is way too much loitering. You need to get your ass out here like right now. You have shit to do." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like it wasn't okay.
Well, that's
I just
a-
wasn't giving myself
it's a
permission in some
precept,
way.
right? I mean, it's a precept from your life.
Yes, some
up
kind
to
of
that
bizarre conditioning. I don't know.
Well, have you
Just
ever
always find
Yeah.
something that's a problem. That's what it does.
had the opposite where you have like so much time in your hands? It's
Oh
weird
yeah,
that they could have the same.
they have the same suffering.
Yeah, the
People
same
will say
universe.
to me, like, what are you going to do when your house is done? It's like, where are you from? You don't know me very well, It's
Really?
like, that ain't going to happen.
You're gonna
That's
come
right.
hang out with a bunch of women and a guy on Sundays
Yeah.
to the cows.
I'll
come
actually
home.
have some, life,
Tell them you're gonna spend more time with the coven.
I'm
They'll
going back.
understand.
I'm going back to the Quakers. I'm going to join a transcendental meditation group. Get something out of life. I'm going to get my fair share through transcendental
See,
meditation.
that's the thing. I have no interest in doing any of that stuff.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
This kind of kills that, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
There's no turning back, man.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they do at the meeting now. There's that Sai Baba thing that they have on Sunday. I haven't gone to it. Well, maybe one of these days I'd like to, but I think it's like chanting.
What is it?
Sai Baba. We were talking about Sai Baba.
Where? Big hair.
With
The
the
afro? That guy? The,
Well, he's dead now. I mean, you know who I'm talking.
I mean,
about.
that's
Sai
Shirdi
Ma.
Sai Baba,
Sai
regular
Baba.
Sai Baba with the big hair.
the guy,
Oh.
the psychopath or the other?
Well, I think there
psychopaths.
are some stories about him in a sort of a molestation type of a framework. I mean, being accused of playing around with, I don't know if it was just gals
Penises. Oh.
or if it was.
Yeah.
No, I think it was homosexual pedophilia.
Oh, all right.
But
But
I'm
that
open.
was poo-pooed by, the true believers. And
Tiny penises.
And I don't think these folks that go to the Friends meeting probably know anything about that. They wouldn't want to hear that. Maybe I'll go and ask them.
What is it?
But, there's a lot of, there's all kinds of cool stuff that he espoused and, is very able to really penetrate some.
Is this a Quaker program? that you
Oh,
think?
no, that's the weird thing. The Quakers, I tried to approach them to bring this down there. I don't know, it's like, I tried the Course in Miracles. It's not really Christian, it's like, now they got the Sai Baba there, what the hell?
Really?
So,
Whoa.
times have changed, is all I can
Times
say.
have changed.
Times have changed.
The committees have changed around, and now we got a little more open there, I guess. Open.
Well, this is kind of Christian, isn't it?
We talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
We like ponder burying ourselves and hanging ourselves on crosses.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Down with that stuff.
I think it came down to one person. in
Something you
particular
said
that was the
actually
head of
did
that
remind me
committee.
of something I read in the Book of Revelation the other night. Seriously,
What's
I don't know
that?
what it was, of
Oh.
course, but
Hmm.
it's pointing to the same shit. Really, a lot of it's very weird and
It's kind of doom
Not
and
pointing-
gloom, isn't it?
Huh?
Isn't it kind of doom and gloom?
It
The
depends on
Revelations.
what your
I have the
perspective
Book of
is.
Revelations to my reading list.
I don't even have a Bible.
oh god. Oh, you can just go online nowadays,
Bird.
Beth. Yeah, little
Steal one
snippets
from your
online. You don't need a
phone.
Bible.
It's funny. I was writing a book of Sai Baba today because I was bringing you that other book, and I thought,
It
well,
would
there's
have been
side
for
Bible
Jamie.
books.
Jamie wants the side Bible
Yeah.
book.
I couldn't find them.
Is there anything we can help you with in your trials and tribulations?
Just being here, you know.
We'll make you feel better. Like, we'll help you build a fire and grill some hamburgers.
We can burn your
We'll
house.
doing that,
enjoy the
like,
place
now?
You're not ready to sell yet.
I'm really glad that we had that gathering
That was
at
fun.
that point, because that was like the last weekend that would have worked for that. And then, I lost water that next day. Did I tell you that?
No.
No, that's when I started working on the plumbing, and I worked on the tank that holds the water, and I screwed it up so much that I started to reevaluate the whole water scenario. And the pump and well we have are 23 years old. They're only supposed to last 12 to 15 years. So I can't sell the property like that. I mean, it'd be such a hit that people wouldn't pay good money for something. So, and I had previously run a line out to the street, I just never connected up. So now I'm gonna connect up.
Okay.
So we don't have water down there. And we haven't since the day after you guys came.
You've been peeing in the bushes.
What you get
while
for
you
Oh,
were-
I'm
Midnight
good.
Sky Song over for the
Yeah,
fire.
like crazy.
We're like, we'll destroy your life. Oh, no
That's
water for
bad,
you.
When you're like losing ground instead of.
So it's $6,500 and plus another delay, in the house. When they come, they gotta dig up by the street and connect up, and just the tie-in is $6,500.
Wow.
I would gladly pay $6,500 for any kind of tie-in that I could get my hands on.
You're in luck.
Yeah, good.
Is there an end in sight for you with the house?
There's an end. In fact, I have a list. And
Oh, boy.
it should be that at the end of this list, I'm done.
You're being tortured right now for the sake of revelation right now. This
That's
is
my list.
this is what's going
That's
on.
what's yet
Jamie.
to do.
Wow.
Now, I can't imagine if I would have counted everything earlier. I wouldn't have gone into this little bit of detail here. But I mean, everything in here, I got to figure, well, on the average, how many hours each? I don't know, a few.
Oh god. Just pay a lot of attention to what actually happens, all right?
He's gonna punch you if you keep laughing.
No,
No, it's great because it's
Human
beautiful,
nature.
really. It's like such a
Well, I'm glad you're doing more than your fair share of holding the world together, because I sure am not.
it's very grueling to say that. But it will be so nice to let it go. And meanwhile, we're just diving into debt. We're just plunging into debt. Because we got two houses going.
I see.
Paying on the old house, paying on the new house, paying on fixing up the old house. A little bit
Wow.
on fixing up the new house, but
You guys are
Almost
risk
like that.
takers.
gotta do it sometime. Better to do it when we're able,
That's right.
sort of able,
Yeah.
semi-able.
Sunsetting Abel.
We could burn the house down for you.
It's too late for, don't do it now.
Uh,
You should have brought that up 6 months
I
ago.
should have.
We could have had a really fun bonfire.
Yeah, we could have had a big fire then.
There is that haunting story of time slipping by, getting older. It's like such a torturous story. Like believing that you used to be young, that you're going to be older later, like, it's going to get worse. It's an awful story.
Well, living in the past and future
Yeah.
that's not good. That causes a lot of strife.
That's Krishnamurti. Time and thought equals fear.
Ooh.
You got that from the rant.
No, it's from a book.
Time and body equals fear.
Well, maybe thought produces time, which equals fear.
Yeah. So
There you
go
go.
into the thought
Whatever it is, it
all the time.
equals fear.
Yeah.
Not to do with anything, nothing to do with it, but,
Oh, as if everything else did.
yeah, as if anything else does. It's just, I'm just unloading on you guys.
That's fine. That's what we're here for.
We can handle it.
Our neighbor from the old place called us last weekend to see if we wanted, if she could get us to go see some guy. She's like one of these fundamentalist Christians.
Mm.